Welcome back. Things are looking up in the fight against COVID-19 with the latest positive vaccine news. But you might not know that from some of the rhetoric coming from liberal politicians and also the establishment media who seem to cheer them on. Joining us to discuss is our panel of the day. We have a Republican strategist, Esther Valdez-Clayton, joining us live. Also, former governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker. Great to see everyone here. Esther, I'll start with you, and I actually do want to start with a clip from Kamala Harris she made in regards to the coronavirus vaccine coming out during a Trump administration. Here's what she had to say.
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
And Esther, we've now learned that there are 3 vaccine companies right now who have had positive results for their trials. Based on that statement there that she made so publicly at the vice presidential debate, do you think that could have an impact on some Americans who might be hesitant to take one of the 3 vaccines that would have come out during a Trump administration?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the vice president-elect, Kamala Harris, has stated that she would be the first one in line. So we're all waiting to see whether she will actually make her statement true and valid, especially for Black communities. Of course, now she is the highest ranking a woman of color to have ever served in that office. And we know that statistically, the Black and Latino communities have been far more ravaged than their white counterparts, including up to 2 times more coronavirus impacted deaths in Black and Latino communities. So unfortunately, that's one of the things that we have to deal with, the coronavirus vaccine. Even though it's good news, it has been politicized by both the left and the right. But however, the Democrats have long touted themselves as the party of science, that they're relying on facts. And they criticize their conservative counterparts, saying that we're somehow anti-science, anti-facts by refusing an untested vaccine. Now that it's a Biden administration that will largely be disseminating and distributing this vaccine, it will be very interesting whether Democrats change their tune and actually ask or demand that the American populace be able to gain access to the vaccine, and also how distribution is going to be impacted. There's also been a lot of debate whether this vaccine will be first distributed to lower income Americans, as well as Americans of color. So we'll see whether Kamala Harris will make true on her assertion that she will be the first one in line.
Yeah, we will see. Only time will tell. As you say, distribution is a big question right now. People wondering how exactly it'll get out to the masses. We know with Operation Warp Speed, military members would be included in sort of that distribution plan. But Governor Walker, I'll ask you this because Governor Andrew Cuomo always likes to make a comment in regards to anything, any news coming out of the Trump administration. Here's what he said in regards to the coronavirus recently. Watch this.
How can we shape the Trump administration vaccine plan to fix it or stop it before it does damage?
So again, Governor Walker, this idea that perhaps there could be damage done by distributing a coronavirus vaccine. Your thoughts on his comments?
Well, Andrew Cuomo is just a national disgrace. I mean, this is a guy who sent COVID positive people to nursing homes. This is a guy who tells people in New York and elsewhere across America that they're to blame, and yet time and time again, him and his family contradict the very measures he's talking about. And now he's trying to politicize getting this vaccine out. I was talking to Vice President Mike Pence last night, and I got to say, for this president, vice president, and their team, this is one of the Operation Warp Speed is one of the most remarkable achievements in American history, at least recent history. And I hope, regardless of party, that people go out and get vaccinated. Certainly, healthcare workers, people on the front line should be the first one getting it. Then people based on age and based on condition should be getting it shortly thereafter. But by early next year, we're going to be put in a position where we're not having to worry about coronavirus because this vaccine is going to be across America and around the world. And that's something we should all be celebrating and thankful for this week that we celebrate Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Great points. I want to bring in Bonner Cohen now, a senior fellow at the National Center for Public Policy Research. Bonner, thanks for coming on. And what's interesting is, absolutely, we've been talking about sort of this media bias, this liberal politician bias that we might have, and we've seen play out in regards to the coronavirus vaccine, how quickly it was able to come together, and also the methods of distribution as well. I've been reading, you say that this could come at a great human cost. Could you explain what you mean by that?
Yes. The coronavirus debate has degenerated in many respects to an attack on those who called into question the measures that have been taken to stem the spread of the virus. The country has been put through massive lockdowns over the past 7 months. And what we know about those lockdowns is they do not work. Both the United States as well as Europe are now experiencing a second wave of outbreaks of coronavirus. What we also know is that the measures that have been taken have done an enormous amount of harm. They have not only undermined the livelihoods of people, particularly the most vulnerable people working in retail and small businesses and the like, but they have actually undermined public health. And they have done so by instilling the fear in people that they shouldn't go to the doctor, that they shouldn't be tested for things completely unrelated to coronavirus, with the result that we are going to see effects from this months and months and years down the road. And the sad part about this is when people bring this up and when people challenge what has been done thus far, they are demonized, just as people who call into question the whole notion of human-induced climate change. They are climate deniers, and we are running the risk of having now COVID-19 deniers. And sadly, we're doing that precisely at a time when 2, and perhaps shortly 3, vaccines will be available to us in a few months that provide some hope for relief.
Yeah. Well, wonderful conversation we've had this morning. Bonner Cohen joining us live. Our panelists, Scott and Esther, stick around if you don't mind. Still a lot more to get to here on National Report.